Hello, Legend of the Samurai here with the Miwa JN. This is a high pin count dimple lock from Japan. The layout is identical to the Kaba 20, although it uses slightly different pins. This one has 17 pins arranged in 4 rows, left, right, and then diagonal left and diagonal right. So, it is a rather difficult lock to pick, although not quite so hard as some of the other Japanese high pin counts, because it mostly uses, or it entirely uses, standard driver pins. But let's see if we can get this open. Some of the pins at the beginning misbehave, so hopefully get those set fairly quickly. It's a cluster of 3 on the diagonal that all like to set at the exact same time, but I think they are good, so we will continue on the top left. And then one in the diagonal, back to the top left. Bit of core rotation, go to the top right. There's 5, 6, 2, and then back to the top left for pin 4, and we're open. So fairly straightforward to pick because all of the standards once you can get it going. And then these locks are notorious for you don't want to spin them because the drivers will actually pop out into the keyway. This lock in particular, I don't know if it's unusual. The drivers are sized such that they can't actually do that, so it can be done, but I'm not recommending you do that on a lock without checking, having it disassembled first. Alright, so this is one of the more convenient formats in that you don't need to modify anything significant to take it apart. Just need to take out a C-clip. Cylinder pops right out. And then it has these Bible covers, which are crimped in, but they can be tapped out and filed down a bit to make for a sliding fit. So, get this apart. And I will be dumping the springs up here because I don't actually have room for them in the tray because they are comically large. I do not know why they use springs that big, but they do. So 1, 2, 3. So in the diagonal rows, they use these steel standard drivers. And then all of the key pins, not all of the key pins. Most of the key pins are standard like this. Some of them have a spool element. max lift pins are very thin at the top. So in the horizontal rows, they have these brass drivers. And here is one of the deeply spooled overset traps. And there's a couple of them spread throughout the lock. I think I launched a spring. 4, 5, 6. Ah, there it is. That's another one of those. Spooled key pins. Get that one in a minute. And last row. All right, and before I take that apart, go close on these pins. So 17 installed is pretty standard for the JN. Technically, If this is the same layout as the Kaba 20, it can take up to 22 pins, although that's exceptionally rare. Little E-clip retaining on the back, and absolutely nothing in here that you need to worry about falling out. No ball bearings, no extra anti-drill pins, nothing like that. It's a normal core, no extra overmilling, no countermilling, just standard profile, no warding to worry about. And then the housing is, again, pretty standard. It's only drilled for the chambers that are populated, and all of them are offset from each other, so if you line up one row, no matter how you spin it, you won't get another chamber to line up, which is why I could spin it fully at the end. And then, just to show a little, sort those out later. I was a little surprised by this, but the drivers don't actually fit in the keyway. Maybe that's new, but anyway, it is the Miwa JN. Oh, I didn't show the key earlier. The 4 rows interact. I actually got this key marked for right side in red and left side in blue. So in the diagonal rows, which are the middle of the key here, there's only 2 bidding heights. There's almost 0 lift. You do still have to nudge them a bit. And then there's complete maximum lift out of the keyway. And then on the other sides, I believe there are 4 bidding heights, ranging from true 0 lift, where you don't need to touch it, to complete max lift out of the keyway. And they're milled in such a way that it is hard to determine where the pins are unless you actually compare it to the core. So, that is the Miwa JN, picked and gutted. A fun lock, certainly an accessible one in terms of the Japanese high pin counts, not nearly as bad as, say, the Goal V18 or the more absurd clavis like the Q18. So, if you get a chance to get your hands on one of these, I wholly recommend it. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.